All right, here we are. We're going on to card number 2. So, I earlier this week had someone ask. They mentioned that they would, were like, "Oh, would you mind doing a cat-themed card sometime this week?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, of course! We'll love to do a cat-themed card." By the way, that reminds me, I do take requests. So for cards, so please comment. Send me a message. You should do a card like this. I would love that. I would love that. Okay, so the first card I did in this series was kind of flower themed with this kind of wood grain background. Watch the other video if you would like to make that card. So we are going to do something very similar for doing the wood grain background for the background of this card. Okay, except we're not going to do the exact same thing. So, because I always like to teach different things when I'm doing kind of wood grain and kind of stuff like that. So for doing this wood grain, we're not going to do as much. I'm not going to make it as involved as the last wood grain. So this wood grain, all you need is a brown ink pad and a little sponge. You can also use a paper towel with your watercolor palette. You can spritz your watercolors with a little bottle of water, or a little spritz bottle of water. So you spritz your watercolor palette, and then once that brown ink has gotten activated, you can take a paper towel or like a little sponge and kind of pick up some of the ink and then use that to do this technique and brush it along the edge. Okay, so you're going to take the ink, whatever ink that may be, even a little bit of acrylic paint and a paper towel would also work for this, surprisingly enough. You're just going to brush it along the edge. So this is called inking. And this just makes it look kind of old. And I've had people ask in the past, like, what is that supposed to replicate? I guess dirt. It's supposed to replicate dirt, to be perfectly honest. Okay. So then when you put that up next to your other ones, see how there's that nice contrast there and it looks just kind of funky and kind of old. So that just is a really quick way to kind of make like an old look. Right? Whenever I'm trying to age something, years ago I had, like when I was a kid, people were like, "Oh, just burn the edges." Wow, dangerous, first off. But secondly, it's really, really hard to control. You might get lucky or you might really enjoy the look, but I really like having a little bit more control over the old effect, especially if I'm trying to avoid like something I had printed. And so this is a great way to do that because you can kind of control if you want like more up here and kind of less in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here and kind of add just a little more ink. Okay, so once you're done doing that, so I'm going to clean my little area there so I don't get brown ink all over my card base. Okay, so here's our little cat. Isn't it so sweet, little kitty on the edge? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fussy cut that. Okay, you may be wondering how the heck I'm going to fussy cut this. So there's a little ledge here, alright, so I'm going to cut on the top of the ledge, I'm going to cut out the little tail here. I'm going to go down to the bottom of that ledge, so the tail is really going to be cut to the bottom of the edge. I'm going to cut up to the face, around the face of the cat, up to the ears, around the ears, top of the head, around the ears. Yes, I did cut the whiskers off because I'm not going to try and cut those out. If you would like to, you're of course welcome to. I am not. When you get to the bottom of the ledge, cut yourself about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, that's going to give it a nice bit of a substance to hold that up against. Of course, for the underside of the little cat here, I'm not going to do that. But just on the edges of the cat, give yourself about 1/8 of an inch so that way you're not cutting off the tail and losing that piece. Okay, so you should end up with something like this. All right. So cute. Okay, so now with our little panels here, we're going to go ahead and glue this on. So when you lay these down, of course, I recommend laying them down first. So then that way you can see how much space you're going to need to give yourself. So we're going to do about 1/16 of an inch between each one. And about 1/8 of an inch on the top and bottom. About. I got glue all over the place. Classic, Ellie, classic. Okay. And our last one. Oh! Well, this one went right to the edge. I'm just going to have to go with it. Charm Salts? Okay, I think it's all right. I think it's going to be just fine. All right, so now you have these pieces left over here. Okay, so you maybe have already figured out what we're going to do. We're going to make little plants. Yay! So you can decide if you want to make your planter boxes out of the gray or out of the brown. It's really up to you what you want to do, or if you want to kind of mix and match, of course you can do that too. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide on some little shelving. I like the idea of doing a couple little shelves and of course having the little canopy at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this here, and I'm going to go ahead and trim my shelves, and I'm probably going to need to do maybe 1/4 of an inch. If you have a paper cutter, you might want to use paper cutter for this. I'm not, because they don't need to be perfect. All right. So I'm going to do one little shelf here. I'm going to tell you right now, I recommend making your little plants and then gluing your shelves on. I already know what I'm going to do with my plants, so I'm going to put my little shelf down, but I'm just going to tell you may want to consider making your plants first, okay? All right, and then I decide what I want my planter boxes to be. So I'm going to do my planter boxes. I'm going to do some of my little planters out of this and the rest of my little planters out of that. And I'm going to do you can make your plants however you would like. There's so many different choices for plants. So I really want to make sure that you feel really inspired with that. For your little planter boxes, there are some cute little ideas you can do here. I'm going to do a little half one here. So you can do a planter box that has like a little kind of lid like that, kind of a little top. You can also make your little planter box, you can kind of do a little kind of diagonal, kind of like this. And then you can give it a little top like that. So it kind of makes it a little bit more like an actual little plant kind of box. So you got lots of little choices for how you want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that on there. So I'm going to make a series of my little pots first. So I'm going to do that guy, I'm going to do this one. I want there to be lots of different sizes, and I don't know if you have plants around your house, but you can kind of get inspired, like, oh, I have a cute little cactus, or like, oh my gosh, I love this little dangly plant. You know, you can kind of, I mean, you don't have to like actually like make the whole plant, but you can get inspired by like cutting like a squiggly little stem, and then you can use like a small little hole punch to cut out leaves, and then you can glue those on. So there's lots of little ideas for making cute little plants and stuff. Okay. So I'm going to do some plants out of this, or some planters out of this. Probably just one planter since my shelf is gray. Oop, I'm definitely going to need to trim that down. So far, got this little guy here, this little guy here, and I got this little guy here. Cute. And then that's going to be a planter box. Maybe I'll do a larger plant up here. Maybe not quite that big. I'm sure there's like all different kinds of planter boxes. I'm just doing like really basic ones because I'm just not really sure. Like at my house, I have like a teapot, like an old teapot that has a plant in it. Like I just use like random containers. So just like, oh hey, a plant will fit in that, or like old jars and stuff. So it's kind of hard to like draw like an old jar out of like a piece of gray. You know, it's kind of funny. Okay, you can also take like your watercolors and color your gray bit different colors and make different color palettes. Okay, so then for the plants, you can just cut little strips. If you do like little pointed strips where it's kind of tapered, that's a really quick and easy way to make a kind of fun textured plant. Okay. So you can decide if it's going to be a tall plant, make sure you put that down at the bottom. So that's why I recommend like maybe waiting to paste your shelves on until you've decided how tall your plants are going to be. So how to do this little textured plant, I'm just basically, I put glue on the back side of my little planter box, and then I'm just putting all of these down with the pointy side facing up, if you have pointy sides on those. Whoop. And I'm going to kind of push them all as close together as possible so that it looks like a big like bushy plant there. I did this all the same color, but of course you can go in it and do it in like 2 different shades of green. That would be kind of cool. So I want you to feel inspired, like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that. Yes, please do. I love ideas. I love it when I see people create new things and take my ideas with cards and go even further. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that cool looking? So it's just really kind of a fun, easy way to, one, use scraps, if you have scrap paper in different shades of green, but also just a really easy way to make a very full looking plant very, very easily. Alright, so you're going to go ahead and start filling your plants up. Now, don't fill them all up, because one of them we are going to stick the little cat in. So cute. Okay, so the little kitty's going to be in here. Of course, his little hand's going to stick out. So you could just make it so he has like a little dirt in there, I guess, and you could just cut a little piece of this and color it brown, so it's like he's just hanging out in a little dirt. I want it to kind of be like he's in a plant, because let's be honest, that's kind of what my cat does. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but she sometimes gets into things and she likes to eat plants. So I'm going to make a cactus. So I want my cactus to kind of be this shape, where it's kind of just a cylinder and it's kind of pointy at the top. Okay. And I'm not going to do this one for the cat because I don't want my cat to be hanging out in the cactus. I'm going to glue these ones here. If you have a little tiny fine point pen, I'm going to use a Slicky pen. You can use a tiny pen and actually draw tiny little X's on your cactus, and then that can be the little texture for the cactus. And then we'll go back in and add that here in just a few minutes. I'm going to glue it in first. The other thing is that if you've done what I did and you did 3 cactus in a row, but you can't really tell, you can also take your little pen and actually outline that. Well, I can tell right now that that already dried, so there's no way I'm going to be able to move it. So I'm literally just going to outline each of my cacti here, because otherwise you're just not going to really be able to tell that they even exist. And I'm actually drawing right on the very edge of the cactus, and you're going to probably be able to tell, but it's okay. I want there to be distinction. And then I'm going to draw tiny little X's on it. And that just makes it look like a cactus very easily. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is already so cute. It's so cute. It's so cute. I can hardly even handle it. Okay, so now for each of your other little planters here. So we're gonna do another one here at the top. I'm gonna show you my other little plant. For this guy here, so we already have like a little. Ooh, can't make it too tall. So I'm going to have this little kind of stem here. I'm going to kind of fold it in half like that. I'm going to make the tops pointy because they're tapered like plants actually are. Plants are tapered. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cut some little leaves, quote unquote, using a hole punch. I'm just going to hole punch some little quote unquote leaves. There, a little piece here. I'm going to go ahead and glue my little leaves down. Kind of doing one on one side and one on the other side if I can make that happen. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. So when I say glue one on one side, one on the other side, I'm kind of doing back and forth, like left, right, left, right. So my little stem there. I'm going to add that into my little pot here for my potted plant. I'm definitely going to need to do another stem of that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's kind of fun, kind of interesting kind of plant. No idea what kind. I'm not trying to mimic what kind of plant. I'm just going to go in with it. Whoops. Again, I'm going to kind of do a tapered kind of top on that. And the whole punch. Let's see how many more I can get. Probably 3. And we're going to glue that down. And I usually look at it from the front, so that way when I'm gluing my little stems down, so that way I can kind of decide, I'm like, oh yeah, I like how that looks, or I'm like, ooh, no, I don't like how that looks. Okay. All right. I'm going to glue my little plant down there. Cute. Alright. I want to add a little topper on that. I think I am going to, since I did on all the other ones. Let's see if this guy's going to be long enough. Ooh. Just barely. I think I'm still going to do it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do my little cat one right now. So now I had originally told you to leave a little 1/8 inch on in there, and I'm going to cut that off on the left side here, or on the far side away from the tail first, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and line this up. So I didn't want you to lose this little tail piece, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. So now you have a little tail with a little end on it. So you're going to take your little cat arms and you're going to glue the little arm part onto just the front of your little plant, okay? Now I'm going to decide what kind of plant I want to do in here. And let's see, what do I have? I've got cactus plants. Oh, I've got some leafy plants. Let's see what I want to do here. I think I'm going to kind of do some kind of ovally kind of, or some kind of teardrop kind of looking thing, some kind of classic leaves. Okay, so kinds of these kinds of shapes, because that's going to be the easiest, in my opinion, for kind of my shape here. Oh, and you can make them a couple different sizes here if you need to. Just don't make them all exactly the same. Okay. Alright. I'm going to do kind of maybe like a wiggly stem kind of shape. So maybe something that kind of looks like that. You guys can see that. So just a kind of skinny little stem. And then we're going to do these kind of teardrops. Okay, and so this is what we have thus far. Alright. Oh gosh, it's so cool. Okay, so this little cat one here, I'm going to do this little stem here. Actually, I'm going to build this first, and then that way I know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to do some larger stems at the, or the larger leaves at the bottom, And then as we get closer to the top, we're going to do the smaller leaves. I actually have a plant like this, so I kind of mimicked that kind of shape. So I'm going to put some glue along the stem. I'm going to do left, right, whoops. And overlap just a tiny little bit up to the top. Left, right, left, right. And then all the way up to the top here. Whoops. Get a little glue excited here. Alright, so this is what I've created here. Okay, so I did the little stem and then I did some left, right, stems kind of back and forth, alright? And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it on the back side of my little cat there. Okay, because the idea is that this cat is like hiding out in your little plant forest even though it's not supposed to be. Yep, classic cat times. And I'm actually going to overlap one of my little leaves kind of next to the little cat. You can. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I'm actually going to add in a couple more of those leaves since I have space to do that. And we'll say this little leaf's going to kind of hang to the side a little bit, like maybe the cat's kind of hanging out underneath it. Just a little bit. Kind of bend that up. Okay, alright. I got one more little planter box here at the top. I'm going to add to that and then I will be done. And I'm just going to make this kind of a quick little easy plant. Not going to make that one too hard. Let's see here. What do I want to do? This is the color I'm working with. Oh, let's see. What do I have like in my kitchen? I got a little cactus, got succulents. Oh, succulent is not an easy plant to do either. But I think I'm just going to do little triangles. That is a very easy way to make a succulent. So I'm going to do my dark green triangles here on the edge first. And then I'll finish it off with doing some light green triangles along the back. Those do not turn out very triangle-y. So I'm doing every other now. So I'm kind of going in between my light triangles and doing my dark, or between my darker triangles and doing my light triangles in between. These triangles are not very triangle-y, but I'm going with it anyway. Okay. Alright, so there we have that guy. Kind of fun? Alright, now we're going to go ahead and glue that down. Now, I want to add something kind of fun and a little bit different kind of in here. And that's like a little rock, kind of little rock stack or little rock cairn. And to do that, it's just really easy. You're just going to kind of cut some little ovals. If you have a couple other shades of gray paper, this is a great opportunity to get those out and use those. Because, oh, I forgot to glue the little cattail on. Well, still gotta do that. You guys probably all already remembered and I totally forgot. Alright, but anyways, like I was saying, if you have a couple other shades of some gray paper, now is a great opportunity to get those out and use those. But if you don't, you can use your watercolors or even a little bit of a gray marker to go back in and add some other colors. I think I actually have a gray marker. So I'm going to do that. Make sure when you're making your rock cairn to make it kind of flat. Alright. I do have a gray marker. So I'm going to do kind of a gray marker on that one, and a little bit on that one and that one. And I'm going to do an even smaller rock here, or rock for the topper guy. Okay. I'm going to glue my rock cairn together. I know you're supposed to stack it, not glue it, but, you know, paper crafting. Well, that guy didn't really fit, so we took him off. Alright. And I'm going to actually skip this plant over if I can. Did I already glued it down? I'm still going to do it. I'm going to re-glue that. Oh, I love that little rock cairn in the middle. That's fun. Alright, so there we have our little room. Now I'm going to go in here with my little catnip, and I'm going to be gluing on the bottom 1/8 inch of that little piece there for the little tail. And you just kind of glue the tail in wherever you have a space here. And I think that I'm going to have to do it on the little side here is where I wanted that. This little tail, so cute. And you may want to trim off the little side, kind of depending on where you put the little tail. So much fun. And I'm going to take my black pen here and just draw some little lines for the leaves, and that's really going to kind of help kind of just show the kind of separation of the leaves there. Alright. So there we have our second card. Oh my gosh, look how cute is this little cat at the bottom! If you wanted to make another little plant for the inside of your card, you certainly could. I don't think I have enough pieces left here to do that, but just other options for you if you decide to do that later. Alright, so this card I did not give a sentiment for, so again, you can make it for however you would like. Alright, so there we have our paper piecing for today. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another little rock cairn stack for the inside. I know, I was just going to like end the video there, but then I decided I want to do one more rock stack. Now, I'm not going to make my inside rock stack exactly the same. I'm going to make it just a 3 rock stack, where my outside one I did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rock stack. But I am going to do the different colors of, I'm going to use my marker again, my gray marker. You can also use like a black marker or like brown markers and stuff too if you have different, depending on what kind of colors you have laying around. I just want to put something on the inside of my cards, so that's why I'm like, can't end quite yet. Gotta do something on the inside. Alright. Alright, and then we have a little rock cairn on the inside. Yay! Oh, what a fun card today. Alright, you guys, so those are today's 2 for $10 craft kits. Oh my gosh, so much fun. So happy with those. Alright, have a great day, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.